So basically all the Klaviyo accounts that I audit or work with have a pretty terrible deliverability score, like the one you can see here, and then within about 2 to 4 weeks we're consistently able to take them to the score you see below. So as you can see here, 65 score up to an 84 within 3 weeks. So this document includes the exact step-by-step playbook that we use for the brands that we work with. So in this video I'm going to be running through that document and covering everything you need to know to get your emails out of spam. A lot of things in email marketing are pretty subjective and vary between industries and niches. However, this guide will work for any brand in any niche. We'll cover everything deliverability, from segmentation to benchmark KPIs. So if you do want to get a better view of this document, have a look at some screenshots and stuff like that, go ahead, top link in the description. You can go ahead and grab this document for free, read through it, keep it as an asset for yourself or your team. So let's get straight into it. So before we get into the guide, let's run over a few terms that you may have heard of but don't fully understand. So starting off with deliverability. So you obviously understand this to some level because you're on a deliverability tutorial video. However, a lot of people don't actually know what it is. Your deliverability, which is conveniently given a score inside Klaviyo, is simply your track record with recipients. So think email credit score. If inbox providers like Gmail think your emails are wanted and trusted, you'll land in the primary inbox. How do you make inbox providers trust our emails? Make people open them and interact with them. So deliverability is essentially a spiral. More delivered emails means better credit score, means more delivered emails means better credit score, etc, etc, etc. So the next term I want to run over is segmentation. This is another term you've probably heard of but maybe don't fully understand. You may get mixed up between lists and segments. Lists are static groups of people that don't dynamically change. They can be added to with pop-up forms, but that is not a dynamic change. You can add to them and take away, but you can't dynamically change them based on criteria. Unlike lists, segments automatically update based on behavior, attributes, or events, such as recent purchase, email engagements, or site activity. Segments are used to organize your audience based on shared characteristics, allowing you to tailor who receives certain emails without manually filtering your list each time. So the next term I want to go over is email bounces. So an email bounce is when an email bounces back from a recipient's inbox, so pretty self-explanatory, i.e. it never landed in their inbox. So this can happen for multiple reasons, and there are even two different types of bounces. You've got hard bounces and soft bounces. However, all we need to know is that bounces are the enemy in terms of deliverability. We'll use segmentation to avoid these permanently and completely remove people who are prone to bounces. So the final thing that's important to note before we start is how do we actually quantify good deliverability? Or said differently, how do we know we're moving in the right direction objectively? Because deliverability is quite a mysterious topic for many people, they find it hard to objectively measure it and affect it. We'll mainly measure deliverability through open rates because if your emails are landing in the main inbox, people will open them. Obviously, there's other factors that go into open rates such as subject lines, segmentations, general brand authority. However, it's a very good indicator. So that's how we measure deliverability, but how do we affect it? The basis of this strategy is simply to boost open and click rates while avoiding bounced emails through strategically placed emails. Therefore, the way we improve our deliverability is through the manipulation of these KPIs. So as you can see, this is exactly what we want, really high open rates, really high click rates. Obviously, this isn't sustainable over a long time. You'll understand more as the video goes on, but this is the basis of the strategy. We want to boost these as much as we can in the short term. And then, obviously, bad deliverability there, 35% open rate, terrible click rates. So yeah. So before you send any emails, it's important to check that your domain has all the correct verification in place to actually have a chance of landing in the inbox. This is done through certain DNS records that inbox providers like Google and Outlook scan for when determining if your email should go to spam or not. Think of these DNS records as ID at a bar. There's thousands of tutorials on how to do this, so I'll give you a quick step-by-step overview on how to make sure your domain has all three DNS records. So firstly, you want to check if your domain already has them active. Some of you will already have these DNS records set from other projects and stuff like that. So just search up free checkers online. So you've got DMARC checkers, SPF checkers, and DKIM record checkers. So go ahead and just get your domain checked for all these records. Some of you will have them all active, like I said. Some of you will have some of them active, but not all of them. And some of you will have none of them active. So if any of them aren't active, go to your domain provider, find the DNS manager, and then add the records you're missing. So to find the records you need, search your domain provider, followed by the record type you're looking for, tutorial. It's very simple. Basically, all the big domain providers like Namecheap, GoDaddy, Google Domains, Hostinger, like they all have tutorials on how to do this. So it should be pretty straightforward. Make sure your domain is set up correctly, and then make sure that that domain is linked to Klaviyo. Pretty straightforward. So as you can see, some examples of the records you're looking for. This is roughly what they'll look like, obviously just customized for you. Alright, so once your domain is set up correctly and linked to Klaviyo, we can start sending emails. But before we start worrying about segments and campaigns, let's talk about flows. Having a base of high intent flow set up will allow a slow drip of emails being sent to people that are very likely to open and very likely to click, because obviously they trigger the flow. So we want to set up these high intent flows to just slowly work on our deliverability over time. So even if you don't work on the campaign strategy that I'm going to go over next, you can still slowly work up that deliverability score, just basically automatically on the back burner. So The high intent flows are the welcome flow, the cart and checkout abandon, the browse abandon flow, and the post-purchase flow. So these will be the flows that get the most engagement out of your recipients. These are the flows that will boost your deliverability the most. If these flows are set up and firing as they should, they will help boost your deliverability score with predictably high interaction rates. So a quick pro tip is, while you're going over this deliverability strategy, while your score is still low, add filters within your flows that will kick people out of the flow if they haven't opened the first 2 to 3 emails. Because some of these flows can get quite long, and if you've got an 8 email long flow or whatever, and you're trying to boost deliverability, but by the time you get to the bottom of the flow, people aren't opening it. So if we kick people out 2 to 3 emails in, then we can go ahead and continue to boost deliverability. So if you do want to learn how we personally build out these flows, I do have a video. This covers all flows, covers the whole funnel, from pop-up forms down to post-purchase flows and campaigns. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, you can figure out how to set up your flows there. But yeah, just go ahead, go to my channel, find this video, and then that's how you set up your high intent flows. So just before we move on, we are currently offering brands that qualify a completely free welcome flow. So if you do want help getting these high intent flows set up, go ahead, check out our website, and we'll completely design you a 6 to 8 email long welcome flow. Obviously completely tailored to your brand, none of these free templates or anything like that. So yeah, if you are interested, go ahead, loopclickmarketing.com, watch the video, read some testimonials, and then book a call on there or shoot me an email. My email will be in the description. So yeah, let's get on to the next step. So that's flows out of the way. That's something that will just automatically boost deliverability. You can set it up and forget about it and then move on to your main strategy. So let's start talking about the campaign strategy. So we're going to use a campaign strategy called the engagement ramp, as well as a few bonus strategies to help supplement the main campaigns. The main strategy, along with the bonus steps, all rely on segmentation. We're going to use segmentation to manipulate recipients as to where we're only sending to people we're very certain will open, click, and not bounce. Over time, we'll begin to make these segments bigger, less parameters. This is the engagement ramp. So how to set up segments, pretty straightforward. Go over to Klaviyo. On the left-hand side, you have audience, click on that, list and segments, create new, and then you're straight here into the segment builder. So like I mentioned, this strategy involves using segments to send to larger, less engaged lists over time while keeping the KPIs above benchmarks. The final goal is to be able to send to the 90 to 120 day engaged segments with a 50+% open rate. Some accounts will take 2 weeks, some will take 2 months, but this strategy will get you there. So now you know how the strategy works, let's get into the details of the exact segments we're going to use. So all segments will start with if someone can receive email marketing, followed by the parameters. Just wanted to add that in there to make sure people know. So yeah, starting off with the first segment, you can see here, this will be the very first segment you send to. It will be very small. As you can see, for this account is around 1,000 profiles. But we've got clicked within 14 days or subbed in the last 7 days. So this is the most high engaged segment that you're going to be sending to, hence why it's the first one. So moving down, you've sent 1 or 2 campaigns to that segment. Moving on to the next one, we've got clicked in 30 days or subbed in 14 days or purchased in 14 days. So again, want to get that set up for our second set of campaigns. So moving on to the next one, clicked within 30 days or subbed within 14 days or purchased within 14 days or opened in 14 days. So now we're starting to get some bigger segments. But yeah, just copy this segment, put it straight into Klaviyo. We're going to go over the strategy on how and when to send to these in a minute. Next segment, open once in the last 14 to 120 days. So these are our main engaged segments that we're going to start sending to. So once you've built out the other 3 or 4 segments, not 100% sure, once you built those out and sent a few campaigns to them, we can move on to the engaged segments. So we're going to start off with around 14 to 21 days. That's where we're going to get the most engagement out of. And then over time, we're going to ramp it up 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. Until we're sending consistently to the 90 to 120 day range. So as you can see here, when I talk about 120 days, 90 days, whatever, this is what I'm referring to. As you can see in this image, we've got what someone has or has not done, opened email at least once in the last X amount of days. Obviously, the more days, the more people. So yeah, that's why we want to get to around 90 to 120 day mark for our main campaigns. We should be able to get there within a few weeks or a few months of starting this segmentation strategy. So a quick bonus segment that I want you guys to go ahead and create in your account is the never send segment. So as you can see, this is people who have bounced an email or marked as spam over all time once. Like, we don't want anyone who's bounced or marked as spam. So every month, just before your billing cycle, you want to go ahead and manually suppress this segment. This will save on your Klaviyo bill and really improve deliverability because we're getting rid of people who aren't interested. So we've gone over segments, now we know where we're sending, but what are we actually going to send to these people? As mentioned previously, the goal of these campaigns is to get the most engagement as possible, opens and click rates. We've already covered open rates with our segmentation and we've chosen people who are most likely to click. But how do we actually create emails they want to open and get them to click once they do? There's multiple routes you can take. Here's some of my favorite campaigns to send during this phase. So case studies / stories with click to view links. So I'm going to go over an example of that in a minute. Questionnaires, call to action is to vote on the questionnaire. Vote style email, so asking subscribers to vote for new products, vote on their favorite products, vote on new product names. So just engage people, get them to vote on stuff that's going on within your business. Even if you don't take much notice to what they say, just ask them to vote on it. So social media promotions, 2 birds, 1 stone. These are pretty high engagement because it's not a lot of effort for someone and they might genuinely be interested. So just promote your Instagram, promote your other social medias. You should see decent click rates with these, and also you can get some more Instagram followers. So 2 birds, 1 stone. Click to reveal style emails, pretty obvious, pretty cheesy, but they can work. So put a picture of a product, blur it out, click to view, obviously with some promotional copy and stuff, but they can work. Click to view style emails, pretty cheesy, but they definitely can get some high click rates. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be running over a case study for this style email, a case study with a click to view link. So as you can see, the results we saw were absolutely amazing. 67% open rates with a 7% click rate. I don't think I've ever got a click rate higher than that since this email. So yeah, as you can see, here's the email. We've gone for a text-based email here. A lot of these emails up here will not be text-based, but this one we decided to go for a text-based. Text-based emails are very good for this strategy because, like I'm going to talk about in this little case study, it's very low intent to get people to actually click on the links. So here's the email if you do want to read it. I'm not sure how much is cut off from my face, but like I said, top link in the description, you can go ahead and get this document. You can read this email for yourself. I've blurred out some of the sensitive information just for the sake of the brand, but yeah. So as you can see, this email is a prime example of creating an interesting email to boost clicks. In this email, we wrote about a case study this brand had with a large company. So yeah, a simple case study email, sort of like 2 birds, 1 stone again, because we're boosting our click rates with a few little strategies I'm going to talk about. And also we're showing people a case study, right? So the clicks from this email came from describing what their project looked like, further emphasizing how good it looked, then certainly promoting people to view it. So as you can see, the call to action, not 100% sure if you can see, but it says, if you're curious, here's what it looked like. So the premise of this email, basically, we spoke about a big case study, a big project that this company worked on. We hyped it up, we made it sound really nice, really good to look at. And then we basically put in brackets, if you want to check it out, here's what it looked like with a link. And that's how we saw a 7% click rate with this email. So again, if you do want to check that out, top link in the description, get the document, go ahead and take a look at that email so you can see some of the strategies we used. 3 little tips to boost your opening click rates while sending this strategy. So first tip will be to create curiosity invoking email topics and subject lines. Obviously, this is going to boost your opens. If you're sending to smaller segments, which you are, don't be afraid to be a bit strange, a bit creative. Try some email campaigns that you'd never think to send to your main list. Just try it out because you never know what's going to get that engagement, open rates and click rates. And if people don't like it, they'll unsubscribe, and that's fine also, because if people are going to unsubscribe anyway, we can get that out of the way now. Provide real value in the subject lines. So this won't apply to all brands, but if you sort of have a product that you can educate people around and provide value, and make sure that they know that from the subject line. So tease the value, make sure they know that this email will be valuable and will actually help them out in some way. So the final tip I'm going to give for this strategy is give soft call to actions to get clicks. So like we used in the strategy above, we haven't gone ahead and said click here for XYZ. We've just gone ahead and put if you're curious, click here, see what it looks like. So make people feel like they made the choice to click rather than you told them to do so. So a pro tip, briefly mentioned it a minute ago, but remember that these segments are going to smaller portions of your list. So don't be afraid to experiment and show more personality with the brand. So now we know what emails we're sending and who we're sending them to. How do we actually monitor the results to make sure we're on the right track? So open rates. The first few campaigns should have open rates around 70 to 85%. Obviously, if your KPIs are much lower than these, like I'm talking like 20, 30%, sending to these segments, you want to go ahead and check out your DNS records again and make sure that everything's set up with your domain. So these high open rates won't last as you move through the segments, which is completely fine. So the general rule of thumb is that your campaign sent to the first 3 segments should have open rates no lower than 65, and then the remaining segments, before you get to around 30, 60-day engaged, should have no less than 60 to 55%. If your open rates go below these benchmarks, either send campaigns more optimized for opens and clicks, or the easier way, just send an extra 1 or 2 campaigns to the previous segment and then go ahead and move on as you were. So click rates. This metric is less important than open rates in terms of monitoring and tracking, just for the simple fact that some campaigns will be tailored towards click rates, some will be tailored towards open rates, but obviously we want to keep our open rates up no matter what. So click rates are a bit more variable, but we want to stay above 1% at least. Once you get to your large 60+ day segments, dropping slightly below this is fine as long as your opens are above KPI. Some ongoing deliverability best practices. So the strategy is complete. You're sending your campaigns to your 60-day engage list at a minimum, and you're seeing open rates above 50%. But how do we stay here? So something I do want to touch on, if you have a big sale or big brand news or something you want to talk about to everyone, don't be afraid to send these campaigns to large segments, maybe even the full list, because you will get away with the odd campaign that's below 50% open rates. However, for your regular 2 to 3 weekly campaign sends, you want to stay above 50% open rates. If you drop below 50% open rates at your main segment, go ahead and drop below, send a few campaigns to a smaller segment, and then move back up. As well, something I didn't really touch on is that we want to send to the biggest segment possible while staying above 50% open rates. So obviously, this example, we say 60-day engage. If you can send to your 120-day engage segment and see above 50% open rates, definitely do so. And the opposite of that, if you can only send to your 30-day engage list to stay above 50% opens, then do that. The reason we use these certain day engage segments is for that exact reason. We can tailor our KPIs and our campaigns exactly to how we want it. So we can go 30, 60, 90, 120, and then even if you have to, in between those numbers, you can go ahead and create even more segments to make sure that you're getting the perfect KPIs that you want to see, basically above 50% open rates. So, unengaged segments. Create a segment that outlines people who can receive email marketing and haven't opened a campaign in over 90 days. Create a segment that outlines people who can receive email marketing and haven't opened an email in over 90 days. These are your unengaged profiles. You can send to these people once a month, include these in the big sales and the brand news as mentioned before. This allows you to grow your engaged segments over time and also allows you to send to larger lists over time. So the never send segment that I mentioned previously, routinely suppress people that bounce and report as spam forever. This step isn't just for deliverability strategy. This is something that you want to do every single month before your billing cycle. So if your Klaviyo bill comes out on the 22nd, 21st of every single month, go into your Klaviyo and suppress the segment. You have enough people to send emails to that will actually receive and enjoy your emails, so don't destroy your deliverability trying to recover people who don't. So the final tip for ongoing deliverability strategy and making sure that your KPIs actually stay up is innovate and be creative on your email campaigns. Come up with new angles and ideas. You can use sites like Really Good Emails and Milled, get inspiration and see what the big brands are doing. Also, sort of every quarter or every half a year or so, go ahead and refresh your flows, improve the designs, make everything nice and cohesive there. And then, yeah, you just want to keep innovating and getting creative on the email designs, because one of the main things that hurts deliverability is just sending the same campaigns over and over and over again with slightly different wording. So to summarize, before you do anything, get your DNS record set up. Obviously, like I said, there's thousands of tutorials online. Go ahead, get all that set up so you haven't got to worry about it. Step 1, set up high intent flows to get a slow but constant feed of engaged subscribers to receive your emails. Obviously, like I mentioned, the high engagement flows are welcome flow, can't check out abandoned flows, browse abandoned flow, and the post-purchase flow. So step 2, create your 4 engagement ramp strategy segments as well as your engaged segments. So like I mentioned, you want to go from 30 all the way up to 120 days with these engaged segments. So step 3, use the ideas and tips above to ideate and design your engagement focused email campaigns ready to send to segments 2 to 3 times per week. Step 4, monitor your open and click rates throughout the process, making sure to stick to these KPIs. First 3 segments should be no lower than 65% opens. Remaining segments, or before you get to your 30-60 day engagement range, should be no less than 55% open rates. Never drop below 50% for all campaigns, apart from blasts for big sales and brand news. Stay above 1% click rate at least. Once you get to your large 60+ day engaged segments, dropping below this is fine. Step 5, moving forward into ongoing campaign strategy, stay above 50% opens. Use the never send segment to suppress people every month and get creative and innovate on campaign ideas month over month. So that concludes the video. That runs to the end of the doc. Hopefully you now understand the engagement ramp strategy and exactly how to go from poor deliverability to landing in the inbox consistently. So again, top link in the description, get the document, look at everything for yourself. If you are interested in the free welcome flow offer that I mentioned earlier, go over and check out our website, loopclickmarketing.com. And yeah, that's everything for me, and I appreciate you watching the video. Cheers, guys.